Hi everyone, welcome to week 3. I hope you've been enjoying the course so far and that you are seeing the benefits of the skills that you've been learning starting to emerge in your everyday life. Now today we're actually starting to look at listening, and I think listening is probably one of the most important skills and area of skill development in this whole course. It is essential in your life to be a good listener. Lots of us think that we are, but once you're introduced to some of the specifics around it, perhaps you might realize that there is a bit of space for you to develop as well. Do you know, like with body language, when I said before that 70%, up to 70% of what we understand from each other is communicated through body language, we only retain between 25 and 50% of what we hear. And I guess 50% is if you're a reasonably good listener, 25% is perhaps if you're not so good. You might find that you're somebody who, in a situation, potentially if it's a bit of a difficult situation, you spend a lot of time thinking about what you're going to say next or back to that person. Or you might find that you get distracted really easily and you can hear the beep of your phone and you want to check that message and you're really that interested in what the other person is saying. Well, I really encourage you to open yourself up to this new set of skills that we're going to be teaching you. I think you'll find that if you take them on, your ability to influence others, to persuade others, to negotiate will really start to increase, and you'll see huge benefits in both your personal and professional relationships. What we're going to do is to look at some theory as well as some clips. We're going to be looking at distraction in today's modern world because there are huge distractions available to us, and distraction is one of the key things that undermines your ability to listen really effectively. We're going to talk about having a more effective conversation with friends and colleagues, and I'm going to be giving you some practical skills to listen better. This is sort of put into two areas. It's around general skills and it's around specific techniques with which to reflect and feedback to others when you're having a conversation with them. At the end of this week's content, I'm also going to begin preparing you for assignment 2 and the introduction to reflective practice. Now, I'm going to give you a practical example, I guess, from my own experience in my role teaching undergraduate students in communication. Quite often I will have a student come to me and they've been really upset about the mark that they've received for an assignment. If they think they've done really well and they don't understand why they haven't got the mark that they hoped for. Now in that instance, I've got two choices. The student's usually quite worked up and they're upset because they've had to kind of brace themselves to come and talk to me about it. And I guess in their minds, they're saying that they're challenging me a little bit. So in that moment, I have two choices. I can either get worked up as well and say to them, well, I'll have a look at it, but I don't believe that your mark will change. Or I can listen to the student properly, put my own thoughts and feelings aside, and I've learnt to do this over many years, and listen to them. Their thought and feeling is that they're really upset, and they're upset, they're disappointed, they worked hard and they haven't achieved the outcome that they wanted. So as a practical example, what I do, the first thing I say is, I hear that you're feeling really upset. I hear that you haven't got the mark that you wanted and that you feel really disappointed. I hear and I understand that from what you've just told me. And then I let them continue to speak because the situation is about them. It's not so much about me. We need to explore together what outcome they want. And the outcome that they want is for their assignment to be looked at again, potentially by someone else or maybe by me. Or if I'm very clear, I'll ask them how we can resolve it together. I will be clear about the parameters that I can offer, but in that instance, it's really important to hear their feeling and their sense about the interaction. And I find that 99.9% of the time, taking the time to listen to them, taking away my authority as such in the situation, but really hearing what they have to say gives them a very strong sense of validation, and as though they're recognised, their feelings are recognised, and that there is a way forward. So that's a very practical example, I guess, that I can share with you from my own experience. There are many others, but that's the one I'd like you to take with you and move forward with in today's content, and have a think about, perhaps as you learn these skills, if you could apply even the first stage of this, which is reflecting back somebody's feeling and recognizing how they feel through a situation that's going on in your life. It actually works incredibly well with children as well. Something that I find, I have 2 young girls, that if they're upset, often, rather than being a parent, if I just recognize how they feel in that instance, you're upset that, it often really helps diffuse things. Okay, thanks so much.